Thank you.
Craig, you now have a brand new sim machine that you can use to improve your racing skills.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Sucker Punch, brilliant.
Sucker Punch decided to offer a sim rig to one of the Racing Prodigy draft winners.
This was a really difficult video to make. We looked basically everywhere to provide Craig with the rig with everything, including the computer, and we looked at ABRUZZI. ABRUZZI is a store that not only sells sim racing equipment, but they also sell custom sim rigs, and ABRUZZI is also owned by the sim racing legend Jimmy Broadbent. So who better to make a sim rig for Craig other than ABRUZZI?
So we're here at ABRUZZI with our rigs winner Craig to pick it up.
Back in May, I went out to Atlanta, to the Atlanta Motorsport Park, to experience season 1 of the Racing Prodigy League. I was out there for 3 days and I got to experience a number of motorsport events, fitness, skid training, media training, and got to drive the Radical SR1 race car. Since then, I've come home. I'm getting ready to experience the sim racing rig for the first time.
So one of the cheesy taglines we have at ABRUZZI is going on your sim racing journey. And what we mean by that is that we've got your back at every step of the way. We can start off with the sort of beginning, getting into your first rig, maybe like a wheel stand, a very simple, very budget-friendly setup, or all the way up to motion rigs and VR setups, stuff like that. So we're really trying to make sure everyone's catered for. So this is the rig. Let's just go through what's on there and what we think is what Craig needs to really be competitive over Racing Prodigy. So first of all, the frame. This is a Next Level Racing GT Elite light frame. We've made a couple of small adjustments to the monitor stand here just to make sure it's extra rigid, because having something that is rigid and does not move really enhances the experience of sim racing. The last thing you want is to press the brake pedal and go forward like that, because you don't get a consistent brake. You don't want that. Paired to that, we have the Moser R12 wheelbase, called so because it has 12 Newton meters of torque as a peak output, which, to be honest, is plenty for 99% of all sim racing. You don't need any more than that. And to that, we've paired the Moser FSR rim. Every button on there does something, which it should do. I'm from a period of sim racing where buttons used to be fake. None of that is fake, with a lovely little screen as well on there. Also, seat, one of our lovely ABRUZZI seats that we've very recently sort of put up onto our website. I actually, after a long time, replaced my own seat at home with this, and it's a vast improvement. I don't sweat like, well, I'm not gonna say what I sweat like. Also, the Moser CRP pedals as well. Again, super adjustable. You can do pretty much anything you want on those. The whole idea here is to give you the best bang for buck and the most accessibility and adjustability as possible for as cheap as possible. Speaking of that, by the way, PC included in this setup. This is one of our sim racing PCs. We have as a 4060 in there from memory, and a AMD Ryzen 7 5800X as a processor, 32 gigs of RAM. And all this, everything included here, comes in at, I think it's £3,700. So yeah, not breaking the bank, this. The idea is to give as much as we can for as little as possible. No needless extras, nothing like that, just purely full function.
The rig is a delight. It is buttercream smooth. Far, far better than anything I've ever used before. I am really enjoying this. I accept I've just got to learn this track, but the steering wheel it's precision, it's well made. The pedals feel nice and exacting. Everything's responding to what I want it to do. It feels nice and chunky. It feels firm and solid. Well impressed with it. You've outdone yourself here, Ricardo. This is fantastic. It is so smooth to use. It's rigid and firm. I'm not going anywhere.
I haven't done anything. It was actually Jimmy. But
Jimmy, well done. You've excelled yourself, mate. This is.
And speaking of Jimmy, here I have something for you. So iRacing has set up a challenge for you. I know this is the first time.
Go on.
And there's probably a lot of pressure right now. But Jimmy is gonna set up a fast lap, right? And you're gonna try to catch that fast lap. And the closer you get to it, you can get up to $500 iRacing credits.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So no pressure.
Can we handicap Jimmy in any way? Can we ballast his cut? No.
No, we have faith in you.
No.
The rules are as such. There's $500 in iRacing credits on the line, which Craig can use to buy any piece of content he wants. Jimmy will post a flying lap, and for every full second Craig is off, he will lose $100.
Right, okay, so I want to start this by saying that this is like my second or third lap around here. So let's see what we can do. It's been a while since I've driven Sebring, but I'll give it a good go. So looking to the insides, there's a cone right on the top. We're going to try and come into that. There you go, nice. Hold the throttle, keep the car nice and sturdy through T1. Use the curb on exit. Now we're going to brake just around this little 2 marker here. And the second gear, roll off the brake, back on the throttle, monster this curb on the right. Again, look into the cones here. Going to try and brake just after the 3. Let's see if it works. Okay, yeah, we're fine. Don't worry about that. Second gear, again, roll off, clout the inside curb, then flatten the gas, use all the circuit. We paid for the circuit, so we're going to use all of it. We're going to brake just before the 2. And again, roll into this inside curb, bit of throttle to keep the car steady. Watch out for the curb on the left there, it will unsettle the car all the way out here for Le Mans. A downshift was a bit rubbish, but don't worry about it. We're going to turn into this little blue wall, like we're almost aiming to hit it. And then we're going to hit the brakes in a straight line. And roll through, back on the gas super early, super early. Bit too early, oh no!
And Jimmy ended up crossing a line with the 2:29.2. We gave Craig ample time to test the rig so we could have a fair chance, and this tough monkey was able to clock a really good lap time for someone that had his first time in the sim rig.
Let's go. Let's go. Looks quick. A lot of understeer there.
A lot of understeer.
And off the line. 31.2.
Get in there.
Get in there, Craig, not Lewis.
Get in there.
With Craig's lap time, that means he's gonna win $300 in iRacing credits.
First time I've been in a proper sim rig ever, really. I've come from karting in the past and obviously did Racing Prodigy back in May, and there's a lot of comparisons I can draw with the seating position, the fact that it's all very rigid. When you're driving a kart, for example, you're bolted down to the whole thing. You feel absolutely everything going through your spine, up through your shoulders, through your arms. It's a very physical experience, and I've missed having the force feedback on the steering wheel on my previous setups, because I used to have a fold-away setup. If I had any kind of force feedback set up, it would just shake itself around my bedroom, so I couldn't really have that. This makes me feel as though I'm part of the chassis, part of the car, and it's a lot more in tune with my experiences over in Atlanta when I was doing Racing Prodigy. When you are strapped into that car, you are physically part of that car. You can't move. If you do move, then you've got yourself strapped in incorrectly. You need to be physically part of it, and that's what it feels like in here. It's all a rigid structure, and it makes me feel like I was back in Atlanta once again. To accommodate this, I've had to build a shed, because I was going to temporarily put it in the dining room, but I got a raised eyebrow from my wife when I said I'm just going to put a sim rig in the dining room. I'm going to move the dining room table out. Christmas dinner might be a bit al fresco, so I thought I'd better build a shed. So I went out, laid a foundation, put a shed in, insulated it all out, ready for this thing to go in. And the ultimate shed monkey, my inspiration, is sat right here. This is the guy who pioneered shed sim racing.
Thank you to Sucker Punch for their generosity, and also ABRUZZI for helping us out dishing this sim rig. It has been a kick-ass experience, and I think Craig over here is loving it way too much, and now we have the difficult task of taking me off of a rig.
A big thank you to Brian Schmucker for this incredible gesture of providing a sim rig, a fully functioning sim rig to Craig. Also a big thank you to ABRUZZI and Jimmy Broadbent for building this amazing sim rig for Craig, and I hope Craig has a lot of fun, and I hope to see him in iRacing soon. Subscribe to the channel and join our championships. You can become a professional racing driver.